foul. That was absolutely ridiculous.
The Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
Up on down. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series.
I don't know. It's tough. Tom's up there, man.
Safe.
Ladies and gentlemen, the factory for Boston.
What is going on YouTube? It is your boy Just Helmet here on YouTube and on Beantown Takes, back again with another video. I know it looks a little weird, but we got a new little setup. I have a new desk for all my laptops that I'm going to be using for live streams, videos, and all that here on out. I'm not against my couch. Sorry I've been lacking for a few weeks or whatever, but I just kind of wanted to take a little step back on this channel here for a little bit. We went to a couple Patriots games. I'm glad you guys enjoyed a little bit of Patriot content, as we don't get much Patriot content on this channel here. It ended up in 2 losses, unfortunately, but we are looking at one more Patriots game to go to before the season ends. That'll be the LA Chargers in December. That is one game that is on my radar for the future for the Patriots. We'll see what happens there. The next game that you guys will probably be seeing might be the Bruins, but it most likely will be the Celtics, if I had to guess. If we're going to be doing the Bruins, it's going to be opening night. I think they're going to do a huge ceremony for their 100th year. We'll talk about that in a different video. Today, we are going to be talking about the Red Sox, and we are reacting to the Red Seat Radio. We had to come back to Red Seat Radio because at the beginning of the year, this dude here predicted the Red Sox to be 85-77. 2 games worse than the New York Yankees. And he's going to be really, really, really far off from that prediction. He's not going to be far off from the Yankees and the Red Sox, to be honest with you, because the Yankees are not going to be in the playoffs also. But he did predict the Red Sox to be well over the 500 mark. He did not predict correctly. I predicted them to be under 500, and I think I'm going to be correct in that prediction there. And we're going to react to see what he's got to say about the Red Sox being officially eliminated from the playoffs. And to all those people who were telling me that this Red Sox team was a playoff team, please enter the chat down below. Would love to hear your thoughts, and would love to hear you say that I was right from the beginning of this season here. This Red Sox team being a below 500 team. I didn't get their record correctly, but I did predict them under 500 this season, and it looks like that is going to be a correct prediction for me. We'll see what happens this weekend against the White Sox. The White Sox are in town. Benintendi's in town. I'm not going to see Benintendi. Their season's over, so I don't have to be there. I got to see the games that I really wanted to see. Mookie Betts returning. Nathan Eovaldi returning. Those are the 2 games that were really started on my schedule at the beginning of the year. Chaim Bloom is gone, so they need a new GM. We'll see where they go from there. We'll see what happens in the offseason, really. That will determine if the Red Sox are going to be my number 2 team next year or not. Simple as that, to be honest with you. We'll see what Red Seat Radio has to say. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoy these videos. Subscribe now if you guys are new. You guys know what to do. Go check out our website. The link's in the description down below. Without further ado, let's hop straight into this video.
It's official. The Boston Red Sox have been mathematically eliminated. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and things simply did not go well for the Red Sox in Texas. This last series, they lost 2 out of 3 games to the Texas Rangers in Arlington. That officially puts their season record at 75-78 on the year. That officially puts them 20.5 games out of first place in this division,
tonight,
10 games out of third place in this division, and obviously, the most important part of this conversation, it unofficially kind of eliminates the Boston Red Sox from postseason contention. But the big question here is what's next, right? What's next for the Red Sox? What should they be focusing on now that they've been officially eliminated? And what does this mean for the rest of the year, and what should we expect there? Well, that's what we're going over in today's video. We're going to be talking about what are the next steps for the Boston Red Sox. We're going to be talking about what to expect from these final games of the 2023 season, and we're going to be talking about what the Red Sox should be looking for going into the 2024 offseason.
Stars. Star talent. I think it's pretty simple, to be honest with you. The Red Sox lack constant everyday players. They have the talent in the farm system to get a piece if they really want to. There's some pieces in free agency that's going to be there this offseason. If the front office really wants to prove to their fans that they still care about this team, they need to sign stars. It's as simple as that. They need to get the interest back in the city. especially for me, honestly, especially for the fans who feel the same as I do, the interest isn't there. Our favorite players are gone. Mookie, Xander, Nate, even Benintendi was one of the favorites. You got to get creative some way, somehow to get some stars on this team. Get some buzz back in that stadium. Because there's no buzz at Fenway Park right now. They need a winning team. They need to actually show that they care about this team and they want to win right now. Actions speak louder than words. Bree texted me this, and she brought up a good point. It's too bad you can't fire an owner staff. It really is, because they got to get some blame in this too. The ownership has to get some blame in this too. That is 1000% true. A lot of it falls on Chaim Bloom, yes. But the ownership also lied to their fan base, saying that they want to win now. And they didn't show it. They had fans hoping that they were going to have a winning season this year. But in reality, it was just another losing season. With a bunch of mediocre players. Justin Turner played his butt off this season. That was really good for him. I would like to see Turner back here. But again, how much is he going to get paid this offseason? You can't tell. And are the Red Sox willing to give him a decent contract? I don't know. But they can't be fiddling around role players, bench players, or whatever. They need everyday players. They need stars on this team. They need the buzz back in this city. That's what they need to do.
But before we get into that, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so instead of actually going player by player and recapping this series, because again, it wasn't a pretty series either way for the Red Sox, let's talk about sort of the bigger picture here and what a postseason elimination means. On sort of a smaller, broad scale here, it probably means we're going to be seeing a lot.
Article hasn't came out on the Red Sox season yet, but I'll give you the grade already. F. Just simple as that. The Red Sox front office said they wanted to win now. They were competing for a championship this year. They were willing to put their chips in the middle of the table after giving Rafael Devers that extension. They claimed that they were ready to back up their bets, and they didn't. They missed the playoffs. F. I think that's a fair answer, honestly.
A lot more guys play every day that normally don't get a ton of playing time. One of those guys being Bobby Dahlbeck, right? Who was actually, in my opinion, the series MVP offensively for the Boston Red Sox in this series. He went 5 for 11.
You gotta move Bobby Dahlbeck this offseason.
And
you have to do
4
it.
runs in this series against Texas. Good for Bob, right? The dude deserves some playing time after what he's been doing in Worcester this year. I think hopefully the Red Sox are able to either move him this offseason or allow him the opportunity for a team to take a flyer on him going into 2024, because I think it could be a productive big leaguer, but that's besides.
I don't think you should lose him.
You're
for
probably
nothing,
going to
though.
see a lot
I think
more
you gotta
guys
get a
like
piece.
Bobby Dahlbeck, Luis Urias.
I'd
guys
even
like
consider
that
prospects
get
of
into this
Dahlbeck,
everyday
honestly, at
lineup,
this rate.
get some playing opportunity and sort of see what you have there a little bit. The other thing we're probably going to see on a day-to-day basis is a lot more youth, right? We've sort of been avoiding the topic of why Ceddanne Rafaela has been playing every day, and I think it's because Alex Cora was still treating this like they were kind of in the playoff race, right? And that's just sort of the manager's job. Imagine if Alex Cora came out a month ago and was like, yeah, Ceddanne's here because the Red Sox are giving up. They're not going to try and push for the playoffs, even though it's really, really unlikely. That's not what the manager's supposed to do, right? He's supposed to manage to win no matter what. But now that they're officially postseason eliminated, I think we're going to see a lot more of Ceddanne. We're going to see a lot more of Wilyer Abreu.
I see a lot of Mookie Betts in that swing right there. Let me go back for a second. I see
the manager's supposed to do, right? He's
a
supposed
replica
to
of Mookie Betts at the
win
plate
no matter
right there.
what. But now
Watch
that they're
his
officially
stance.
postseason eliminated, I think we're going to see a lot more of Ceddanne. We're going to see a lot.
Very similar. Very
more
similar
Wilyer
swing.
Abreu, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some other guys make their way up at some point, maybe an IL stint for some of these guys on the current team. Those are the two bigger things, in my opinion, to expect from the Red Sox going forward for the last, 9-10 games of the 2023 season. On a broader scale here, the Red Sox next steps in terms of the offense is figuring out what to do with some of your free agents, right? You've got Justin Turner, who I think is by far and away the biggest question mark going into the 2024 offseason for the Red Sox, at least offensively, right? You've got three options
Fenway
with
Park
Justin
perfect.
Turner.
I think you have to keep him.
Are going to try and get a contract in the books before he hits free agency, try and pick up that player option, make it more lucrative, and not allow him to get to free agency, or you're going to allow him to go to free agency and hope that he picks up his player option, or you're not going to bother with either of those at all, and you're going to try and move on and replace his production and his status in the clubhouse somewhere else. There are also other guys, too, that the Red Sox should be looking at in terms of what to do with during free agency, right? One of them, Adam Duvall. I think another one, Alex Verdugo. I think Alex Verdugo isn't technically a free agent this offseason, but
Alex Verdugo is hard for me because he was like the main piece in that Mookie Betts trade. So, in my head, I think you have to give him as many chances as possible. But then, at the same time, my brain goes, how much longer are you going to give him? I mean, this is what, the third year in a row now where he hasn't shown any power production at all? The way I describe Alex Verdugo's game, he's a Walmart Benintendi when he was with the Red Sox. Might have more doubles, I think, but other than that, same player, really. If it was me, I think you got to move him. I'm sorry. I think you have to move Verdugo this offseason. I think he's kind of cemented in what he's going to be in the major leagues.
About what Alex Verdugo's future on the Red Sox looks like. He only has one more year of arbitration. It feels like he's kind of the odd man out in the outfield. Not really, but kind of a little bit, right? That could be a possibility here, and that's something that they could try and figure out over this next month before the free agency / trading market opens up. And you've got guys like Luis Urias, who's a little bit smaller of a piece.
I'm a Verdugo guy, too. I like Verdugo.
Coming to the Red Sox. Does he have a place on the 2024 team? Does he have a place on the bench? Is there somewhere to
I don't think he's good enough to be on this team,
improve that position? So, in my opinion, when we're looking at the broader spectrum of the offense, there are a lot of question marks for free agents.
Good defensively.
But overall, right, offensively, they should remain about the same, and that makes sense because
the power is just not there, though.
Yes,
he hits for more average than anything.
But they have been a legitimate big league offense for this entire year. A top 10 offense in Major League Baseball, top 5 in some categories still to this day. I think the big thing for the Red Sox going into the 2024 offseason offensively is not to change things up too much, but bring a little bit more consistency, right?
Yes.
I think what we saw this year was a lot of different lineups with a lot of different guys in it, and part of that is a good thing.
He needs to do a video on his
predictions. You want a flexible lineup. You want a lineup that you are able to mix and match and still be successful with. But part of that, too, is I think that inconsistency with the lineup and guys on the field led to a lot of inconsistent times with this Red Sox offense. There were times where they were fantastic. There were times where they weren't fantastic, and they were really, really bad, right? So going into 2024, I think it's about bringing consistency to the Boston Red Sox, specifically offensively as well. And I think a lot of that's going to have to come by figuring out who's going to be your everyday player at each position, right? There were a lot of times this year where we didn't really have an everyday player at one position. I think it's time to come into a season where you have a set 8-9 guys that you know are going to be in the lineup almost every single day. And I think that's a big part of why this offense faltered at times. And I think that's the biggest thing to focus on with the Red Sox offense going.
Hold on a second. Let me find Verdugo for a second. Alex Verdugo is 27 years old. He's younger than Mookie Betts. He's 6 foot, so he's 2 inches taller than Mookie Betts is, because Mookie Betts is 5'10". He's 6 foot, 209. He only has 13 home runs this year, 268 batting average, so his batting average is down this year. Only 54 RBIs. What's his doubles count this season? His double count this season is 36. Last year was at 39 with 11 home runs, batting 280. Last year, and then the year before that in 2021, which was his first real full season with the Red Sox, he had 32 doubles, 13 home runs, 63 RBIs. So he's not going to be your typical power hitter guy. I think he kind of cemented himself as sort of like an Andrew Benintendi type player. Let's look up Andrew Benintendi when he was on the Red Sox. In 2017, Andrew Benintendi had 26 doubles, 20 home runs, 90 RBIs. Verdugo's never touched over 20 home runs. Or touched over 80 RBIs, to be completely honest with you. In 2018, Andrew Benintendi had 41 doubles, 16 home runs, 87 RBIs. That was the year they won the World Series. Then in 2019, Andrew Benintendi had 40 doubles, 13 home runs, 68 RBI. And I'm not even going to count the 2020 season. So yeah, point proven. Alex Verdugo is a lesser version of Andrew Benintendi when he was on the Red Sox. Because obviously Andrew Benintendi right now is not as good as he was when he was on the Red Sox. So that is Alex Verdugo. He kind of cemented himself in what he's going to be. Even in 2021, when Benintendi was on the Kansas City Royals, he had 27 doubles, 17 home runs, 73 RBIs. Again, I don't know what happened to Benintendi. Man, he really fell off, though. I feel bad for him because the Red Sox did ruin his swing for the most part. I do feel bad for him, honestly. Yeah, Verdugo kind of cemented himself of who he's going to be in the major leagues. I think it's time to part ways with Verdugo and kind of just take that L on the Mookie Betts trade. Sad to say because I'm a Alex Verdugo guy. I like Alex Verdugo. I think he's just going to be a singles hitter who can hit for doubles, obviously, who won't get over 15 home runs a season and won't get past that 80 RBI mark. I think he kind of cemented himself there. So, I mean, for me, I think it's time to part ways with Verdugo, but we'll see what happens
going into 2024. And I think whether or not you bring back Justin Turner, Adam Duvall, whether or not you trade Luis Urias, Alex Verdugo, is going to have a big role in accomplishing that task. And to me, that's by far and away the biggest portion of the Red Sox offense. To focus on broader picture-wise, now that you are eliminated from the postseason, it's time to get into your war room and figure out what you're going to do this offseason. Defensively, obviously, you have some work to do as well, of course, right? This is one of the historically worst since the StatCast era. I think it's officially now the worst in the StatCast era. Could be wrong, though. It might be a little bit better with Trevor Story on the field. But either way, that's going to need to improve in 2024, right? And I think we've talked about this before, but I think genuinely
defense needs to get better, though, absolutely, 100%.
In terms of how bad it was defensively. Tristan Casas will be better next year. You're starting to see the
Red Sox have 100 errors this season, the second most in MLB behind San Francisco. Eesh.
Beginnings of that before he went down in 2023. Massa will never be a good left fielder, but I don't think he's going to be metrically as bad as he was this year. I think
I agree with that. I think he's
going to
get a boost
Major League Baseball.
after his
it's a little
first
bit
season
difficult, right?
in
To
left
come
field.
into this league and have to play with a monster 10 feet behind you. That's a little bit of an adjustment. So I think he'll be better next year. I think having Trevor Story in an everyday role will make this team much better. So naturally, I think we're going to see a lot better defense from the Red Sox in 2024. But that can't be we think this is going to happen, right? It needs to be yes, we've made the improvements. Yes, we know that these guys are going to be better. Yes, we've done everything we possibly could. And yes, we know this Red Sox defense is going to be better than 2023. And that needs to be what happens this offseason. I think the biggest one to me is that you need to make sure that Rafael Devers comes into 2024 better than he was in 2023. I'm not saying he needs to be a great defensive third baseman. He just needs to be better than he was in 2023. And he could absolutely do that.
Defensively.
Who've been doubting Rafael Devers, he can do that. We've seen that before. He was pretty decent in 2022. He needs to get back to that and away from what we saw in 2023. But outside of that, right, the addition of Trevor Story for a full year, some of these prospects coming up that are going to be joining the team in 2024 and 2025 should make.
What's Trevor Story's numbers looking like? I want to see that real quick. Trevor Story this year, batting 177, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. Here's what I'm going to say on Trevor Story. Sometimes you hit a point in life where you have injuries and you're just not the same dude anymore. And this is just a take in my head right here. I'm not saying I'm hoping this is going to happen, but this is just my belief and this is my take. I think Chris Sale has hit that, and I think Trevor Story has hit that. I don't think you're going to get the Trevor Story like he was in his prime anymore. You might get a related version of Trevor Story, but I don't know if he can be the power hitter like he used to. I don't know if he can stay consistent anymore. I just don't know. And I'm not saying that Bogarts had a great year. I'm not saying that because he didn't. He's ending the season good. Bogarts is ending his season good. But you have a guy in Xander who could go out there every single day, compete at his best, and give the team what he has in him to win. Bogarts this season in 2023 has 19 home runs, batting .283, 53 RBIs, an on-base percentage of .351, a slugging percentage of .442, and an OPS of .793. Bogarts had another wrist injury again this season, so that's why he was slumping for parts in the season. That's why his numbers are a little bit low. But even in the injured season, Bogarts is still hitting 20 home runs. He's still batting .280. That's production. And he's slugging .442. That's production. The Red Sox could have used this version of Xander Bogarts this season. They could have used that. But we know what happens. They let him walk.
Make this team naturally better defensively, but either way, you can't come into 2024 with question marks on defense. You need to be able to know exactly what you're going to be getting from each guy, right? You need to know what you're getting from
30 doubles
Devers,
too
Massa,
this season.
whoever's
People
in
were
center
telling me
field,
that
whoever's
his
in right field,
doubles
whoever's in
numbers was
second
going to take a
base,
step
Story
back.
And Tristan Casas.
And his home run numbers was going to take a step back. Really? Because I'm not seeing that. He still hasn't lost a step at the plate.
There needs to be some stability there defensively. And I think
I'd like to see the RBI numbers up a little bit next year for Bogarts, but
going into 2024.
he really didn't take a step back for the most part.
Right? This is an absolute mess right now. This is by far and away the biggest focus of the Red Sox going into 2024. I think going into 2024, the Red Sox need to get younger pitching-wise,
Yes.
right? You came into 2023 with Kluber, Paxton, and
What a
Sale. Now,
dumb
one of
signing
those guys
that
on their
was.
own is fine, right? Because at the end of the day, you need veteran leadership, and those guys are proven legitimate contenders in Major League Baseball. But all three of them together led to a
Really? Kluber? Dude, Kluber...
high ceiling, but an extremely
Stop.
low floor. And you saw bits and pieces of both of those, the ceiling and the floor this year, but it definitely leaned more towards the floor.
Kluber
and
was not
obviously,
good at all
when
this
you're
season.
older,
Stop
you
it.
also have an increased potential for injury. You also have an increased potential for stamina loss, right? There are a lot of different factors here. So if the Red Sox can get younger pitching and experienced younger pitching, guys who
They need an
are
ace.
really, really
They
good,
need an
just
ace.
a little bit younger, this rotation could get a whole lot better. I think
I
on
like to
top
see
of
the guy
that,
from
too,
Japanese
you also
who
need to
threw
get
2
more
no-hitters for them
talented,
this
right?
season come
I
over
talked
here.
about the really high ceiling, but you were also relying on an aging Kluber, an aging Paxton, an aging Sale to get you there. Your ceiling needs to be the same height, but it needs to be more attainable with younger, more talented pitching. The other side of what the Red Sox need to do looking into 2024 is looking at figuring out consistent roles. You need to stabilize this rotation. This year you had a ton of different guys in a ton of different spots pitching-wise, right? And I think going into 2024, you need to stabilize it a bit. You need to figure out what you're going to do with Cutter, Houck, Pivetta, and Whitlock. One of those 4 guys needs to be in the rotation. One of those 4 guys need to be in the bullpen, right? You need to figure out defined roles. I think having guys go back and forth led to some of these inconsistencies.
Pivetta's
in the
gotta be a starter.
2023 rotation. Now, a large part of that had to do
Pivetta
with
has to
injuries,
be a
right? The
starter,
part that you
without a
can
doubt.
control, the part that says, yeah, we are definitely
Pivetta
making
needs to be your
Whitlock
number
a
5.
reliever, and we're definitely
just as
making
simple as
Tanner
that.
Houck a starter. Needs to get done at some point this offseason because I think it'll really help this team get better pitching wise going forward. I think that's another huge factor as well. So when you're looking at the starting rotation for the Red Sox, this is clearly the biggest area of need. I think all of you guys will agree and probably should agree that going into the 2024 offseason, 90% of the Red Sox focus should be strictly on improving this pitching staff.
I agree with that,
specifically
yes.
this rotation, right?
Yep.
In my opinion, you should get younger, you should get more talented, and you should get defined roles going into 2024 to really make that a possibility. But again, This is the big one, right? This is the one everyone's been talking about. This is the one everyone will be talking about going into 2024. Now, as for the bullpen, there's really not a ton of work to do, right? Because when you're looking at the structure of this bullpen, you've got Kenley Jansen, who's going to be with this team for another year. And I know some of you guys don't love Kenley, but he had an 87.9% success rate this year. That is plenty acceptable for a closer, for a really good closer, an aging closer. My only fear with Kenley is health. Hopefully, he can make it through next season a little bit more healthy. But on top of that, too, you've also got Chris Martin, who's right now like the third best reliever in Major League Baseball. In my opinion, the best reliever in Major League Baseball. He's locked in for another year. Winkowski developed really well this year. You've got guys who are going to be in this bullpen with defined roles like Whitlock, like Pivetta. In my opinion, this bullpen looks really good. What you need to do to this bullpen going forward, and what we saw in this series, was you need to raise the ceiling of these sort of under the radar guys, right? The middle inning relievers, the waiver pickups, the guys who are going to be playing in these games when your big guns can or your big guns shouldn't be in there, right? Those are the guys, in my opinion, you could improve on a little bit, right? I mean, you came into this year knowing Brazier and knowing Ort weren't going to do well on this team. You still rolled them out anyways. That can't happen in 2024.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying stop picking up people on waivers, because that's where you find a lot of these guys, right? That's where you find the Brennan Bernardinos. That's where you find the John Schreibers. That's where you find a lot of these talented relievers, and that's the mark of a really great team, is being able to pick up these guys that other teams can't figure out and figure them out, right? That's the mark of a really great team, and so the Red Sox need to keep doing that. They just need to keep doing it successfully. But I think raising the ceiling of the middle relief, of those sort of mop-up role guys, would make this bullpen a whole lot better. But ultimately, I think what it comes down to when we're talking about the bullpen for the Boston Red Sox, you saw it in this series, you've seen it over the last month and a half. It's just simply wearing them down, right? You can't wear them down as much as what we saw.
And that's because of the lack of starting
the Red Sox
depth
rotation
you have.
Isn't even averaging 5 innings per start. That's a ton of innings the Red Sox bullpen needs to eat up if you extrapolate that out to 162 games. If the starting pitching and the defense get better, naturally the Red Sox bullpen will get better. They'll be better utilized, and they'll be more available in times where you need them available. And so to me, the biggest thing you need for the bullpen going into 2024 is to give them a bit more wiggle room. And I think that, again, that is possible when you take a look at this rotation. But obviously, when we're talking about what next for the Red Sox, there is nothing that can be done until the Red Sox get someone to steer this ship, right? You simply can't do anything. Now, MLB free agency opens up technically the day after the World Series ends, but MLB free agents can't really sign with teams until 5 days after that. So really, the free agent market opens up 6 days after the World Series. Now,
Shohei Ohtani, get it done. I don't care what it takes. Give him a blank check. Tell him, you put the number down, we will give it to you. I don't care if he just got Tommy John surgery either. He's got ties in Boston. There's rumors saying that he wants to be here. He's a star player. He's one of the best players in the league. Get it done. Get it done, get it done, get it done.
The big question here is, what are the Red Sox going to be doing at that time, right? In my opinion, you need to have someone in place at that time so you're not a step behind everyone else. And none of this can get done if you don't have anyone manning this ship. So obviously, that is priority number one, and that's what we are going to be focusing on until they actually get someone in here. But until then, yeah, it sucks, right? It sucks that this series sucked. It sucks that for the second year in a row, the Red Sox have been eliminated from postseason contention with a pretty decent amount of games left this year. Realistically, they have been completely wiped out of this race for a very long time, but it still sucks to see that sort of pop up on your timeline. The mathematical elimination always hurts to see, but it does give you time and a little bit of wiggle room here to figure out what your next steps are. And if you're the Boston Red Sox, you got to get going, and you got to get going now. But that's just my opinion, so let me know in the comment section down below. Now the Red Sox have been mathematically eliminated,
let me know in the comment section down below too what you guys think about this Red Sox team. What do you guys think they need to be doing this offseason? Who do you guys think should be the GM next? And what's your biggest free agent move or signing or trading move that you think the Red Sox should do? Let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoy these videos here. Subscribe now if you guys are new. You guys know what to do. Go check out our website. The link's in the description down below. It's been your boy Jesse, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.